Hey everyone, this is Steli after with Closeout, and in this little video, I want to answer the question I get quite a lot, which is, Steli, should we try to get into Y Combinator? Was Y Combinator as a startup accelerator, was it worth it? Right? What was the worth of participating in an accelerator program like YC? And my answer, always starts with, it depends. This is highly contextual. I can't just say yes, YC is worth it for everybody, or no, it's not worth it to anybody, or accelerators are worth it to everybody or nobody. It really highly depends on the accelerator and on you. When it comes to us and our experience at YC, it was incredibly valuable, probably one of the most valuable experiences of my life. And it truly made a significant difference in the success of our company and our knowledge and our execution ability as entrepreneurs itself. So it was incredibly powerful. Now, I tell people that there was one factor that made YC incredibly useful to us. And that was that we went into the program with a take whatever you want and take anything and everything you want and as much as possible right now. We got into the program with a very proactive attitude of, this is going to be an incredibly resource-rich environment. There's going to be people that are just insanely helpful, and it's our responsibility to take everything we can, to learn as much as we can, to utilize these resources as shamelessly as possible to make our company a success. So we went into that program with that attitude, and I saw a stark divide between two attitudes in the program. There were startups that had, and people and other entrepreneurs that had a very similar mindset that we did. Just they came in and they're like, I'm gonna take as much as possible from this. I'm gonna learn as much. I'm gonna ask as many questions. I'm gonna ask for favors. I'm gonna ask for feedback. I'm gonna connect with people. I'm gonna, take and maximize the ROI out of this experience as much as possible. They came in with that intense, fiery attitude of hustle. And then there was this other group that came into the program more from a maybe academic point of view of like, it was almost like, I'm now in startup school and I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna follow the program, and when they say there's Tuesdays there's dinner, then I'm going to show up at Tuesday dinner, and if there's a speaker, I'm going to take notes, and I'm just going to follow instructions, and everything will probably work itself out at the end. I'm going to graduate, successfully from the program at the end of it. And they took a much more passive approach to things. So, if nobody told them to show up on any other day other than Tuesday, they didn't show up at YC. We did. We showed up there almost daily. We were hanging out. And when you hang out there a lot, or when you are showing up there, even as you're doing your own work, you see people come in, there's opportunities that pop up, there's investors that show up that weren't planned to be there, or potential customers, or other entrepreneurs that are failing maybe right now with a startup and you might want to work with them or hire them. There's opportunity, serendipity, things are happening if you're just physically present. So we did that. We also, just moved from San Francisco down to Mountain View, just 2 minutes away from the YC offices, again, to have close proximity, to be able to go there multiple times a week, to be able to show up there when something interesting, curious, or opportunistic pops up at the offices at YC. We asked for a lot of office hours, right? So some people, they just had way too little office hours. They asked for way too little advice and feedback and help. Again, because they were waiting for the leadership there to tell them, how many office hours to ask for, because they didn't want to inconvenience people because we're too humble or too nice or too kind. And they're like, well, I don't want to ask for an office hour every single week. Well, we said, fuck all that. We need help. We need feedback. We're here to work with people. So we asked for lots of office hours, always with a purpose, not just to meet people. We had questions, we had data, we had information, we had choices to make, and we wanted feedback, and we always wanted feedback from people that were relevant, but we were asking for things. And even in those office hours, we weren't just asking for opinions, we were asking for introductions, for emails, for help and connections to the press, to other investors, to potential customers, to potential employees. We were asking for things every single day, and we were receiving a ton of value in return. And this is the way you want to approach an accelerator like YC, but also to approach life as an entrepreneur in general. Even when you're just working in a startup, you want to ask for what you want in life and in a startup in specific. You want to, and this is something I tell people who join the team all the time, you need to ask for what you want. You need to ask so much that at some point somebody needs to tell you to chill out, right? You need to be somewhat shameless to get the resources you need to succeed. And if you're passive, if you're too timid and too tentative and too considerate of maybe annoying or, maybe annoying somebody or maybe asking for too much or maybe being perceived as unreasonable, if you're editing yourself so much, you're never going to be able to succeed. You're going to move very, very slowly. You're not going to get as much feedback, and you're going to miss the opportunity to grow as fast as you can. And in return, give that value, that growth back to that company, right? Or in this case, that accelerator. YC wants you to ask them lots of questions. They want people that are really proactive, that hustle, that ask for questions, ask for resources, have clarity on what they need and what they want, instead of people that just sit in a chair and wait for things to be given to them, right? You need to go and take things. You can't wait for people to give you things. And this is a major kind of mind shift or attitude shift that can make a huge difference in how you experience the same kind of program, right? So there were YC startups that went through our same program. If you ask them afterwards, how was it? They told you, this was fine, the experience was nice. We wish we'd had a little bit more time with this partner or that partner. We wish we hadn't gotten a little bit more help with this or that. And it always broke my heart to hear that, because I thought, dudes, this is your responsibility, right? Nobody is responsible for giving you everything you need. They can't mind read. They had 40 startups in this program. They cannot know what everybody wants if you don't speak up, if you don't ask for things, if you don't reach out and say, tap people on the shoulder and say, hey, here we are, and we need you to do this little thing. Can you make it happen? I'll give you a few examples, right? We had once we wanted to meet with a VC during our fundraising efforts, and they told us that the partner meeting, the earliest partner meeting they could give us would be a month from now. We wanted to close around within the next 2 weeks. So what did we do? We sit down with PG. We asked him if he could send these guys an email and tell them how hot and how amazing we are and that they need to prioritize their partner meeting to have us earlier. He said, yeah, sure, I'm happy to do that. And what did I do? I turned around my laptop. I had incognito browser window up, and I said, can you do it right now? Can you log in right now and send the email right this second? We'll wait, right? Making sure that it happens. This is a person that's so much in demand. There's a million people want a million things from him every single minute of a day. So I wanted to make sure that we don't leave him with a list of to-do items I have to follow up on and make sure they happen, but that we get it done right away. And he did that, and guess what? We got an email the same day from the partner of that VC firm telling us, you know what? Something opened up, and we would be able to get our partner meeting just 2 days later or 3 days later or something like that. And then they invested, right? So, magic happened. There's another example where I wanted PG to assign a little recommendation letter for me to get my visa, and he agreed in principle to do it, but he looked at the draft that I sent him and he wanted to make changes, and obviously he's an amazing writer, so he wanted it to be better. Well, what did I do? An hour later, I showed up at the offices, printed out the letter, put it in front of him and said, just sign. You have more important things to do. Please just sign. And he did. And I think later on, one day, he referred to us at our startup to a potential hire that we brought with us to a YC meeting, to a dinner, to recruit him, to have him interact with PG, to help us get him to convince him to join us. And he told them, you know what, these guys are weird but incredibly effective, and they're one of the best startups in the batch. And you know why I know that? Because these guys make shit happen. These guys take what they need and what they want. They move things forward. They're aggressive, they're shameless, and they're doing it for all the right reasons. They're humble, they're open-minded, but they have that intensity. They don't wait around for things to happen. They make things happen. If you have that attitude, you're going to go far, and these guys are going to succeed. And thank you for that, PG. So we made a lot of things. We took a lot of things out of the YC experience that many other startups didn't, right? We had them help us recruit people and brought people into YC dinners to help other partners convince employees to join our startup. We had them send emails to investors to help accelerate the process and be a recommendation for us. We had them help us with our visa. We had them help us with our design, our product decisions. We had them help us with press. And not just for the big launch, but even after that, every single week I was asking for very specific connections to very specific reporters because I had a very specific story that I wanted to pitch them. Not just we launched, but here's a user story, a customer story, here's a trend I want to pitch to this specific outlet. And so we were getting interest to all kinds of press and getting tons and tons of exposure. We're getting feedback on our business model. I can't tell you how much we got out of the program. But every single thing we took out of it, we took. We weren't waiting around for things to be given to us. And that's my number one piece of advice for you. If you join an accelerator, especially YC, but in general, anytime you join a place of resource where there's people that are smart, that have more experience, have more resources than you need to take a shamelessly proactive attitude and take as much as humanly possible. You need to know what you need. You need to know what opportunities are there for you to make happen. And then you need to be incredibly proactive and you'll get a ton of value in return. So that is my answer to the question, was YC worth it to you guys? The answer was absolutely yes. Can an accelerator be worth it to you? It depends on the accelerator, but even more importantly, it depends on you. Will you go there and take things, or will you go there, sit down, and wait for things to be given to you? The difference is going to be massive in terms of how much value and how high the ROI is going to be at the end of the program for you. So I hope this was useful to you out there. If you have any comments, thoughts, feedback to share, leave it in the comment section. Make sure to go to blog.close.io and subscribe to our newsletter. And if you ever want to get in touch with me personally, just shoot me an email, stelly@close.io. Always happy to hear from you.